Welcome to Security Weekly. I'm your host, Matt Alderman. We are at DEF CON 27. We're recording live at the Social Engineer Village. Joining me for this interview is a really good friend of the show, Aaran Leyland. Aaran, welcome.
Thank you.
I was trying my Welsh accent. I'm not very good at your Irish
I don't know. I
accent
can
or
never
whatever.
tell
I
whether
don't
it's
know.
Welsh, Scottish, Irish. I don't know. They all
Exactly.
sound the same.
So what we're going to talk about is your transition from the military
Yeah.
into the corporate side of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And you had this really interesting stop about a year ago, right in the middle
Yeah.
at Security Weekly.
Yeah, I did,
So
yeah.
let's start on the military side. Kind of give your history and kind
Yeah,
of
sure.
what you were doing there.
I did 23 years in the Royal Air Force, so I know some people, maybe the Marines and that, will be like, that's not quite military, but we do jest. But yeah, so 23 years in sort of information security, sort of communications background, stuff like that. Finishing up my career in cyber in the military. That was really cool. I did sort of like 5 tours of Afghan, 2 tours of Iraq. So I sort of spent most of the best part of my life sort of in sandy places.
Yeah, warm, hot, sandy places.
Yeah.
Kind of like Vegas every once in a while.
yeah, completely like Vegas without the shirts.
So let me ask a question. After 23 years, why stop then? Or was there nothing left for you to do in the military?
So I was really lucky. I managed to juggle a couple of sort of careers in the military, so I got to do a lot of variety. But I think maybe 5 years ago, I started thinking that the military had transitioned from the military that I joined, and whether that was good or bad, it just wasn't familiar enough to me anymore. And I enjoyed the fact that I could go out and do lots of different things, but sort of the old school familiarity was gone. So I started preparing to get out then. But after 22 years, you get an immediate pension. So that means sort of a reasonable amount of constant money, which gives you opportunities maybe
To do something else.
To do something else, yeah. So,
But some people would stay in longer, could potentially stay in longer, right?
It's like a friend of mine's just getting out now after 40 years. Wow. Yeah, so from he was about 16, 17, right through to 40 years. So that's a long time. In the military.
Now, you came out of some interesting areas at some interesting times. So transitioning now from your military side, getting ready to go corporate, you made some interesting steps along the way. Give us kind of that thought process of what you were thinking when you're finishing up your tour, you're getting done. Why did you do what you did? What was the thought process behind some of that?
Yeah, so I think I was always interested in computers when I was a child, and when I went into the military, I never wanted to be a soldier running around the field with a gun so much. But I enjoyed.
Well, that's why you're in the Royal Air Force.
Yeah. But it's like sort of. So I was always involved in tech. No, it's like my father got me a ZX Spectrum when I was quite young, and did a little bit of minor coding on that and stuff. So the interest was always there. And then when I bought my first computer with my first own paycheck, and there was things like the Cult of the Dead Cow and Back Orifice and stuff like that, that was really interesting stuff. And just the fact that the opportunities in information security and cyber are just, they're endless. No, it's like, I think I was telling the guys the other day, it's like, it's still like in cyber, we're in the Wild West. No, it's like, so we're heading for automation maybe, and sort of level 1 and 2 analysts.
Yeah, but we're still making it up a lot.
But but
along the way.
No, you look at DNS security and sort of even BGP. It's like, what is it they call it? The 2 napkin protocol or something like that. Because it was wrote on napkins. But yeah, so I think because I was in IT and it was like a natural progression, but I guess cyber's the sexier side of IT, right?
Well, I think it is. I started in 96 when it wasn't sexy back in the day. We were doing a lot of the basic stuff around antivirus and firewalls and building out DMZs, which, you can debate now whether we build them or not. And then transition into some other areas. A number of us started way back early in the day. And I think the security side is way more exciting than, IT and plugging in boxes.
Yeah,
and networking and stuff.
It's like no harm to sysadmins, but it's like I couldn't be a sysadmin. I like the idea of the firefighting and them and us and the cat and mouse game of always trying to get ahead of each other.
And probably part of your military training has a part of that in you anyways, right?
So when we talk about military transition, I think that's a very good segue into that. The fact that your military training teaches you to get stuff done and get it done. So if it's time critical, get it done in the best way possible with the best information you've got.
Yep.
But if it's not time critical, no, you can put more thought and more planning, and you can put more people to it. So yeah, I think being in the military, you naturally have transferable skills, and that's something I want to talk about today, is how people can maybe come out of the military and maybe not follow my lead, but certainly follow my lead a little, but learn by my mistakes and learn how I went about actually moving to the city of London and sort of getting...
Yeah, because you got up and moved.
Yeah.
You came to the States for a while, a little while. So let's start with so you're getting finished. You weren't done yet when you came to Security Weekly.
No, I was still in the military.
Yeah, you were still in the military. And why Security Weekly? I've heard parts of the story, right? Paul's told me parts of the story. It was before I was officially over 100% of the time, but we were here together last year.
So I guess I'd listened to the podcasts, and actually I'd listened to them a lot more than I'd watched them, and I didn't realize how much I was missing out of actually.
Yeah, 80% of people listen, only 20% watch.
Yeah,
the video.
But I say, definitely if you get a chance, definitely watch Paul's Security Weekly, and yeah, it's really exciting. But I guess, so I listened to the podcasts. I used to listen to them on my commute to work and stuff like that. As you know, cyber, it's ever-changing, and you have to keep up with it daily. It's not like, sometimes I say, it's like, I wish I'd have become a carpenter, because I don't know how often a dovetail joint changes, but I'd be so bored. It's like, and I'm not very good with my hands either, so the best left to the carpenters. But it's like, so I was listening to the shows, and when you leave the military, you get approximately 6-8 weeks to sort of go out and do something, do some courses, approach some businesses, look for jobs. So I was like, I might as well go big. No, it's like, and I always say shy kids get no sweets. So it's like, you just go big. So I just wrote to Paul, and I wrote to another podcast studio as well, and I got a reply to them, but they didn't seem to have the personality of this podcast network. So I was like, please, Security Weekly, write back to me, because this one, although good, it's lacking a bit of the personality edge that comes with Security Weekly. But so I wrote to Paul. I didn't get a reply for 2 weeks, and I was like,
that's typical. Anybody who's ever emailed Paul.
It's like, I think he's 2 months behind on his emails for the last one.
He's about 8 months behind now that I'm on board. He ignores everything.
That's so good. But it's like, Sam emailed me, and she was like, hi Aaron, Paul wants to give you a call. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch. We've been in Florida, and there's been a hurricane, and
Well, it was InfoSec World.
Yeah. So she's really apologetic, and I'm like, I'm just happy to get a sort of an email back. And then Paul called, and I totally fanboyed him, and he tells the story about now how he reckons I social engineered him. Yep. But it was true.
You praised him.
Yeah,
and all this stuff.
I was like, you're amazing, dude.
And Paul's like, okay, so this guy's coming to work for us. He's ex-military. He goes, I'm not sure what to expect.
Yeah. And I think Paul always tells the story, maybe we should have done some background checks on you or something. Right, He's like, you could have been a serial killer, but we're glad it worked out.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's like, because the guys, literally, when I come over, I remember the day I walked into the studio, it's like Sam was sat here, and Wyatt was sat there, and Mark and Johnny were up in the corner doing some production, and Joe was sat in the corner doing his stuff, and then Paul just walked out smoking a big stogie and carrying a glass, and he's just like, hey Aaron, and I'm just like, hi. But yeah, so it's like, I come out for about 6 weeks, and you guys nicely brought me to Black Hat
you were
and
Black
DEF
Hat and DEF CON last year with us.
Yeah, we started in B-Sides, I guess, as well. And I stayed with the team in the Tuscany, and it's like, got to work with all the guys and stuff like that. And everybody just treated me really quickly, like part of the family. It's like, Sam invited me around to her house for her birthday, and I'd go out with the guys all the time and that. And it was just sort of, it felt homely really quick.
Yeah, and it probably helped you a little bit in that transition period, right? Is you're coming out of the military in a much more disciplined environment. Yeah. We were very undisciplined in our environment.
I think these are much more disciplined this year than last year. I think
it's a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
We probably all know why that is, but no comment. But You know, you kind of like came out of the frying pan right into the fire, a completely different environment.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like from being in quite a strict, rigid environment for obvious reasons, and then coming to an environment of creativity, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the way I like to think of it now. And if people have creative minds and they're talking to people and they're trying to extract stuff from people and get the best out of people, no, they're not going to be as rigid to rules as sort of you would be in the military. So yeah, there's a tiny bit of chaos, but it's unbelievably professional at the same time. But I think people just thrive on the energy of it's like as I guess just before you come to Black Hat and DEFCON, probably the biggest logistical move of your year, and it gets a bit crazy right up to the end, but but everything just works. It's just
look, we will do 50 interviews in 4 days.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy. Okay, crazy. From a production standpoint, you know, I'm holding off on the cough to make sure the guys don't have to do too much editing. But you know, it's a lot of pressure, right? So you finished DEFCON Black Hat with us last year. Then you transition. You go to the corporate world.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. So I joined Deloitte in their cyber practice in risk advisory. And that was really exciting because I knew I had the job before I came to Vegas. So I didn't have to worry about anything. I think I did prepare really well, but I also feel really lucky as well at the same time, because I guess the more you put yourself out there, the more luck you're going to have, right? And the more tickets you have for the lottery, the more chance you have of winning it, sort of thing. But yeah, it's like, so Deloitte had this really good program going. You know, it's sort of the military transition and talent program, and Chris Recchia is the lead partner for it. And I went for other jobs at other sort of public or other services type area. And I had an offer from another company, but they invested like a 90-minute interview on me, where Deloitte invested a full 2-day program where I come in, and you even had like some training while you were on it and stuff like that. And you had your sort of peer-to-peer type interview and then a partner interview, actually leading to an offer at the end of the second day, which is really exciting. So I think Deloitte's really big into military transition, and I believe we have about 150 ex-military staff sort of working around cyber.
Now, is part of the process with their interview process really to kind of figure out where you best fit based on your skill set?
Yeah, so this is actually a really interesting point, because I was doing a master's in sort of cybersecurity, and I'd done sort of a malware analysis module. And so when they were spending the 2 days figuring where you worked in the practice, they were like, Aaron, you should come and work in cyber incident response and know you can be a manager and manage cyber incident response teams. And I was like, I'm not sure that's what I was thinking of doing. And they were like, well, we've talked to you for 2 days. And it's
we think that's what you should do.
Yeah, and I was like, so tell me about it. So they managed to get the director in to talk to me. Like, so he came in and we talked and we got on really well. And he just turned around to me and he says, Aaron, this is where we think you should be. This is what we think you would enjoy. If you don't like it, we will put you somewhere else. Yeah. And I was like, oh, really? Where's the cameras? It's like, are you kidding me? But yeah, so that was really exciting. So that's where I lie now, in cyber incident response and sort of general consultancy, cyber transformation, cyber wargaming and stuff like that. So
that's great.
So that's really interesting.
And then you got them to flip the bill to bring you back out here so we could do this again.
Yeah. So it's like, obviously, Black Hat and DEFCON's really good, because even if it's just for the networking side of it, for building up your personal network, it's really good for that. So I guess just the kicker is there's some really good talks and there's some good opportunities out here.
That's great. If you were to provide some guidance to others in the military that are getting ready to transition to the commercial side, what would some of those tips be?
Okay, so I think most importantly, you can't prepare early enough. So I was preparing 5 years before I left.
Wow.
And I think you gotta, I sort of seen as my second career, because I could spend as many days working in cyber as I spent in the Air Force. So you got to try and do something you enjoy, especially after spending so long in one career.
Right.
No, you want to try and it's like the passion inside you ignites sort of your passion for your job and what you want to do, and I think you benefit greater for that. So, as I said, I chose something that I was really interested in, so that helped. Try and get as much training as you can, and opportunities for training and different types of training. But also, we were having a chat about it earlier, about military communities are quite tight, and the cyber community is really tight as well. So when you meet ex-military people in cyber, them two communities sort of symbiotically, they mash together, but like in a really tight bond, and these people are going to help you. It's like cyber is really friendly. No, it's like, so people are like, how do you feel just leaving the family of the Air Force and coming to Deloitte? I'm like, the cyber practice about 360 people, but everybody knows everybody and everybody's friendly and everybody helps each other. So get out there, speak to military people, join networks, join communities. And
another intern for a summer, right?
Yeah, they won't be as good, but yeah, you could get another. But yeah, I think definitely, and use the resources. There's lots of military resources. Even at Deloitte, they have insight days. So they bring the military in, and they get them to bring like their CVs with them, and then they start talking to them about the transferable knowledge skills. So yeah, so it's like you just got to give it a go, and you just got to plan, and maybe have a little bit of luck as well. But
pick up the phone or the Twitter and give you a buzz, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
But it's like I was going to say that it's like one person that really helped me is sort of one of the new partners in the public sector of cyber, Brian Hercombe. It's like, because when I was going through the 2-day sort of recruitment process, it's like it just pulled me aside and just have a chat and just sort of offer some words of advice and stuff like that. And since then, I've got to work for him quite a bit. And it's like, I now see why I joined the organization, because of ex-military people like that I'm sure they'd help anybody in cyber as much, but it felt nurturing.
He spent the time to talk to you and answer questions and give you guidance, which you felt more confident in coming to an organization like that, where you thought you would fit in, right, and get that support you need.
Because there is like a military community, that will support each other and stuff. And I know as well, I think talking about, I guess people are scared of people coming out of the military because they haven't been in corporate life, but Deloitte actually published a work report about the military and about how their skills are actually in business. And it talks about how when they actually do join the corporate side, that normally their promotion prospects sort of leap ahead of their peers.
Because you're getting leadership skills in the military, which I think transfers really, really well to the skill sets you're going to need to, continue to grow up through a commercial organization as well.
Yeah, so I think I'd ask companies to maybe think more about actually employing military people, and maybe even get a hold of a copy of the Deloitte report. I think they're actually going through their 3rd iteration of it now, and that'll give you the facts and fingers of actually how good it would be. I think some people worry about the mental health of the military when they come out as well, and how maybe they're not going to get on with their civilian counterparts. But I'm testament to the fact that through the way I went in, it was really, really easy. And a lot of these companies offer additional support for the military, but the military is getting better now. On your exit interview, they offer you sort of mental health sort of checks and sort of
just to help with that transition.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about people when they get to your civilian company, because the military's already gone through all their checks and balances and sort of made sure that we can be set free.
Yeah, and if they build a culture where it makes it really easy for you to come in and be embraced and work in that environment, that just helps the transition as well.
Yeah, and I think that really helped my transition, was the family sort of feeling, and just the general cyber community being really, really helpful to each other.
That's great. Thanks for sharing your story, Aaron.
Thanks, Matt.
Always a pleasure.
It's really good.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.